Hello, oracles. Well, my job has been kind enough to give me some more time with you guys. We're going to get into more details on that once everybody hops on. But yes, I have some extra time. So today I am on at 4:20, and Monday and Tuesday I will be able to live what I explained to you guys the other day, which is eventually when I get to the point when I can do this full time, I'll do a live stream at 4:20 in the afternoon, and then in the morning I will do a quick recap for those of you who don't want to sit through an hour plus long live stream to get all of the information. You'll have the option to do either the abbreviated version in the morning or the full extended version. So I'll give you both of those. So yes, Monday and Tuesday I will be doing that. So look forward to that. Hope you guys are having a great week. My week did not end the greatest, but hey, here we are, and I get to spend more time with you, so I will absolutely take that. What's going on, Lang? Good afternoon. Plus, for those of you who are around the world, and normally when I come on at 6:30, it's a bit late for you. Now I can spend more time with you guys. That is the blessing in disguise. I'm trying to take a silver lining from this situation, and yeah, so I'm taking that. And I was telling you guys I had a meeting this morning with my job, and it did not go how I thought it was going to go. I thought for sure maybe I'd have something positive come out of my employer, but I was wrong. I thought for sure we would get something positive, but I did not. Now, looking at Tesla for the day, we will jump into the charts in just a moment. Down a little bit. Again, we did not fill that gap yet. We still have that uncertainty leading into the CPI and PPI next week. So, it's, again, we know it's coming. I've been anticipating this pullback. So whether this is actually a pullback or not, we will have to just wait and see. What's going on, David? Let me pull up the charts here. We'll take a quick look and see where we're at. Let's see. I'll make it bigger for you guys to see. There we go. So yeah, finishing the day at 274.20. Again, down just under 1%. Nothing huge. Had some big moves in other like Rivian and Lucid who are just beat up, but those are swing play trades right now. So people are taking money out of Tesla, putting them over to Rivian and Lucid, running those up to take some profits there. Those companies, not sure how they're going to look long term. Honestly, don't. But looking at Tesla here, RSI is cooling off slightly down to 66 on the daily, down to 68.91 on the weekly. So still on the higher side, but not overbought anymore. So going into next week, we've got CPI on Wednesday. We've got PPI on Thursday. And of course, with all of that, that could be leading the market to believe that the Fed's going to be raising interest rates. So again, like I said, the rest of this month is going to be interesting. We also got non-farm payroll today that came out. And yeah, man, it's going to be a hairy month for sure. Again, what's going on, Blue? Hello, Sith Lord. Lang, job is not in jeopardy. I thought it might have been because it was a last-minute meeting that they called on a Friday morning at 9. So I'm like, well, everybody gets let go at 9 o'clock, or everybody gets let go on a Friday. So I wasn't sure, but like I was trying to stay positive, thinking, hey, they haven't given me a review since I took the position 3 years ago. Maybe they're actually going to do one. Nope. Yet again, it's just negative all the time, as if I'm the worst employee they've ever had. It's a lot of micromanaging and refusal to train people on what actually needs to get done. And all we're trained to do is ask for help, ask for what we need. But every time I ask for what we need, we don't get it. So I'm like, what's the point in asking? Just train me for how to do my job and I'll just do it. And yet I don't have to ask you like a friggin' 5-year-old. But anyway, no, I just got suspended unpaid for 3 days. So my thought process is this. Obviously, I would like to build the channel. I'd like to spend a lot more time with you guys, diving into more Tesla stuff, more investing, helping people out. One of the values I bring to this world is inspiring others to become better versions of themselves and inspiring people to do things they didn't think were possible. And I can share that based upon the wisdom and the experiences I've had for myself. This is why I've started my business, Oracle Investments. That's the channel. That's my business, oracleinvestments.com. It's very small right now. Haven't built up a lot, but the few clients I have had have seen significant success. I want to do more of that. I want to help more people find that same success, find that financial freedom, get themselves out of debt, help them get to healthy lives and live that healthy, wealthy life, live into their 80s and 90s, living a jubilant life. That's what I want to do. That is my ultimate goal in life. And this job here is just a means to an end. You know, it's a necessary evil at the moment. I'm working on things. I have my exit strategy planned out. The sooner I can build this whole channel and business and everything up, the sooner I can exit there. So theoretically, what I need to do for just this channel alone, not including any of my other income that's coming in, if I wanted to match my current job's income with just this channel, I would need like 50,000 views per day on the channel. I'm right around 4,000 or 5,000 right now. So I need to 10x that. So, you know, for me to get to that point, if you guys, you know, would like to like and share as many of my videos to help that, that would be awesome. If you find value in them, please do so. And then, of course, I always thank you guys for all of your feedback because you guys have helped me get the channel to where it is today. So that is my current situation. So no Lang job is not in jeopardy as of yet. I would like to leave on my own terms, and I would like to get to that point. I don't like to burn bridges. I don't like to have negative resentment towards anyone else, but this is clearly a toxic relationship with my job, and it's not healthy for me. So I do need to exit there at some point, and the sooner the better. Yeah, security guards. We actually, the last guy we had to let him go and didn't need security guards, but I definitely threatened to call the police on him because he would not leave. So that was questionable, but they won't need security guards for me. If they do let me go, I'm not even gonna say a word because what's the point? I'm not gonna waste my breath. If they don't find any value in me, then I'll go find somebody who does. Future, I would presume $250 rest of the year, not to the moon anytime soon. So I think we're going to see some crazy swings still. Obviously we saw a crazy swing for the first 6 months. We might see the same for the second 6 months. I don't know if we're going to go up any more from here, but I'm just trying to put like pieces of timing together. We know that the market usually looks 6 months to 6 months ahead when they're trying to do their investing. We know that the Fed is using lagging data when it comes to raising interest rates. And we know that the interest rates and the effect that they have take about 6 months to take effect. So if that's the case, is the market actually right in balance right now? Because if the market's looking 6 months ahead and they're looking at where the interest rates can take us in the future, and if interest rates in the future are going to be taking us to a place that is going to be dangerous and cause a housing market collapse, higher unemployment, if that is what the interest rates are going to be doing in 6 months, and that's what the market is looking ahead to, does that mean that if we get an interest rate hike now, are we going to see the market start to pull back now as well? Because they're also looking at that point in 6 months. That's just kind of some of the timing that I'm playing out in my head at the moment. So, so that's why I'm wondering if this is going to be a gap fill and a bounce, or if this is going to be the start of a pullback to something even deeper. So, yeah, so the 250, I don't know. We might go below it. We might go above it. An average of 250 might be there. I will be doing my Tesla Nair video this weekend for you guys, giving out all of my latest price targets. And my price target for this year did come down, but in the long term, it went up. Actually, I take it back. I think it did go up for this year. Let me take a quick look. Yes, it did go up for this year. I apologize. And the timing, and when you guys do see it, and I'll preface it when I get into that video, is the next 2 years for me with the price target are based mainly on macro environment. So some people that may come out and say, I'm very bearish, but it's a macro environment based price target. And then going from 2025 on, from that point, I anticipate us getting back into a true bull market, not just where we're at right now. I do think we get that pullback. So going into a true bull market afterwards, that's when I see this price target really start to take off. So just to preface that, so when you guys see it again, I'll say it in the video as well. But that stapler, it's funny because we always ask about staplers. We actually had to order another one the other day. We joke about that all the time. But like seriously, my job is the same thing. It's just like that. It's like I'll have 7 people say, "Hey, did you know this? Did you know that?" And I go, "Yes, I'm aware of that." And for me, it's a little bit different. It's not just the TPS reports. It's, hey, this is a process that you're supposed to follow. And I'm like, hey, that's a stupid process. Can we actually make it better? And I think following Tesla for me at this job has made my job even harder for me because I can see how Tesla operates efficiently. Every place I have worked before here, that's been my premise. Every department I have run, every store I have run, every job I've had has been, how can we make things better and more efficient and more cost effective? I came into this company with the same premise, but they do not have that mentality. And every time I try to come up with some plans for things like this and explain it to them with logic, it eludes them, drives me insane. I'm like, do you actually want to get better and more efficient or not? And I'm like, I constantly go back to Tesla thinking how efficient they run and how inefficient we run as a company. It's just so frustrating. Lang, yes, hope for jubilant health, hope for a jubilant, healthy, happy life. Well, yeah, that's it. Yes, please share the channel. Share the channel. Everything. If you guys find value, again, if you guys enjoy it, just share it because sometimes it's the algorithms. You guys sharing it, healthy algorithms on YouTube that helps it get exposed to more people. So any help you guys can give out there just to help grow the channel would be absolutely outstanding. Please. But yeah, and that's it. I want to, talking with Dr. Jack, he feels same as I do that there are ways that eventually we can get humans to live extremely long lives. We're clearly not there yet, but there are ways to get there. So how do we get to that point? We can work on that. But until then, we know that right now it's not as long as we would like it to be. So eventually we do have an expiration date, but it's a matter of how can we enjoy life to its fullest until that expiration date. And sure, you can get all the wealth you want in the world, but if you're in a wheelchair or in a nursing home, are you really enjoying it? No. So it comes down to health and wealth combined. Imagine you're losing your job to Optibot. My thoughts on that would be, again, it's one of those change of job things, and we've talked about it with EVs going all the way back to when Ford came out with the Model T, or the Model A actually at that point. But when they had that coming out, and it was taking over the horse and buggy, it was one of those things where people were saying afraid. They're like, well, they're going to lose their jobs, and then you get to the manufacturing process, and they've got machines in there and automating things, and less people are needed. And it wasn't a loss of a job; it was just a change of jobs. Going forward with Optimus and how Elon is presenting it, we could get to a point where no jobs are needed. But then if that's the case, then we can do whatever we want with life. We don't need to because we'll have an abundance of everything. So that means that the supply will be extremely high, which means that the prices of everything will be extremely low. And we'll live in a world of abundance. And so if I was losing my job to Optimus because of that reason, good. I'd be totally okay with that. That is honestly the whole point of me getting to what I want to do with this channel and building my wealth as well, is to be able to go out and do what I want to do and not what I have to do, which is currently dealing with my job. So, Raymond, Q2 report will be key. If it gets 20% margin and dollar EPS, then watch out 300. That's true, Raymond. Now I also thought about, going back to the Q1 earnings, and Q1 earnings weren't, they weren't terrible. It was basically a meet. And so we got to there, but they also gave us a lot of warnings about possibly bringing prices down some more, margins coming down, focusing more on operating margins. So Tesla coming out with all of that, and the stock still went way up. We've also seen things come out like this where they've hit 20% margins. They've done a big beat on EPS, and then the stock tanks. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. We'll be doing a full live stream for that day, so we'll all get to see how it reacts together. But I just look back in history and how the market reacts to Tesla's earnings, and good earnings. They're like, that's awesome. Good earnings. Let's sell. It just boggles my mind. I think the new Tread app will affect Twitter, then will affect Tesla. Yes and no. I've been hearing a lot about the Thread app right now already having significant amounts of bots and people complaining about bots on there. Plus, of course, Elon's got the lawsuit on them because they literally just copy and pasted what Twitter does. So who knows how that's going to all transpire? I saw the funny things. Elon's going to sue for $44 billion and get all of his money back. That would be great. We'll see. And I don't know if it's going to affect Tesla. I think it would if it got to the point where if Twitter was losing money and Elon then had to put more personal money into it to keep it afloat, that would definitely affect it. I don't think we'd get to that point, though. I think Elon's done a good enough job with Twitter and getting ads back on and putting it to a point where there's more content creators that are actually making money over there now, where like people like Sawyer Merritt, James Stevenson, these guys were on Twitter for the longest time making significant impacts and adding a lot of value. And Omar, like these guys are over there and they got paid nothing with all of their efforts that they put in over on Twitter, and now they can make money. So you think about that and you think about, people like on Instagram can come over to Twitter and make money. I know it's not a lot right now, and people have been talking about it's not big payouts. It's going to start small, but they'll get to the point where these people will start making money and you'll get more content creators over there. That's how these social media platforms did a great job anyway, especially like YouTube. YouTube did a great job. When you entice people to come and create content and you're going to, pay them for that content, you're going to draw more people to the platform to do work for you. And that's what Elon's doing with Twitter. And I think he's going to do a good job with that. And I don't know enough about the threads to know if it's going to be a platform that they can get monetized on. I would imagine it would be. I actually probably look into it this weekend, especially now that I have some extra time off. I'll take a look at it because I am on Facebook and Instagram. I know some people are very much against Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not a fan myself, but I've been on both platforms for a very long time. I've built up quite a following on the two of them. So because of that, this is why, like, to me, Twitter and YouTube are my main platforms, but I'm still on the other two. And it's more on the other two to kind of advertise my business and this channel to get people to come over to here. So that's really what I use those two platforms for. When do I plan to retire? So I told you guys the other day I wasn't going to mention it, but now that my job did what they did, screw it, don't care. So my plan as of right now, based on timing and how the channel is growing, based upon how my investments are growing, 18 months. And that the timing on that is because my son graduates next year. And I figured I could go through his first semester of college. I'll understand what I need to come up with for funds for paying for his tuition. And then at that point, I'll have a better grasp on what my expenses are going to be. So I figured 18 months would be perfect because at that point, I'd have things built up to where I needed to be. And if nothing else, I can either step down, I can find a part-time job, or any other way to supplement anything I'm missing from my investments. And again, this weekend also another video I'll have coming out is my my whole entire June investment income and expense report that I usually put out every month. And on there, you'll see how much I make at my full-time job and how much I make from all of my other sources of income. My goal is to make all of my other sources of income equal what I make at my current full-time job. And I don't need to make what I make right now. I invest a significant amount of what I make. And I live very frugally to be able to invest, to be able to get myself to the point where my money is making me enough money to live on, where I don't even have to do the channel. I can then actually just do it for fun. And I can go out there and not even have to put ads on it and just do it for fun. That's my whole goal, is to get to that point. But in 18 months, I should be able to get to that next stepping point where I can step away from my full-time job. I was going to give them a 1-year notice. As much as I can't stand how they treat me and all the crap I've been through, it truly hasn't been a terrible company, which is why I've been there the longest of any company. I've been there 9 years. I've never worked for anybody for this long. So I wanted to do the right thing. I didn't want to burn a bridge. I was like, I'll give them a 1-year notice. I know for a position like mine, it's not easy to fill that position. So I'll stay there for a year. I'll train my replacement. I'll do whatever they need to help them out. And then I'll move on after that. That was my plan. Whether that's going to hold now after this BS, I don't know. But that was my plan. I try to be as positive in life as possible, in the hopes that the universe will return that good nature. And so far in my life, it has. And I want to continue that. I don't like to be negative. Do you think NIO could be the next Tesla? I don't think NIO itself can be the next Tesla. I don't think anybody can be the next Tesla. Well, I'm never going to say never about anything, but based upon all of the things that Tesla is working on, no one else is working on all of those things. No one is working on energy the way Tesla is. No one is working on superchargers the way Tesla is. Nobody has the insurance like Tesla. Nobody's working on Optimus like Tesla is. So to say anybody is going to be the next Tesla, they would have to be showing me that they are putting together all of those same things. From the EV side of things, I think all of the Chinese automakers have a potential. China's not going to let it go. China wants to dominate the world when it comes to EVs, and I think they're going to do that. I think they will be successful in that. And NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, BYD are all going to be a piece of that. So collectively on the EV side of things, they could be like China could be the next Tesla. All of the Chinese automakers, maybe I'd say that could be like the Tesla on the EV side of things. But until they're going to be coming out with everything else, I don't see anybody else as being the next Tesla. CNBC reporting that Threads now has 70 million sign up. That's more than double yesterday. I think the most are bots. Yeah, they are. And like I said, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about bots being on there. And like like I said, I'll probably try it out this weekend just to see what it's like, because I'm one of those people who I'll listen to what other people have to say, because I think there's a lot of wisdom that can be gained from other people's input. And that's why I like to look at, when it comes to Tesla, bears, bulls, everybody all together collectively, because when you look at everybody collectively, you get a better sense of what's truly going on out there. If you listen to just the bulls, you kind of get a skewed sense of what's going on. If you listen to just the bears, it's the same thing. So I like to listen to both and put it right in the middle. And it's very easy to pick out the people who are extremely on either side. And those are the people who are like, all right, cool, I'll listen to you, but I'm not going to take you for as much value as some others. So I'll try it, but I like to also try things out for myself and actually go and see it, because then I was like, I believe what my eyes tell me. So I'll try out Threads and see how it is. Facebook sucks. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook. But like for me though, it's like my parents are still on Facebook. So like my mom, she'll always comment on every one of my posts when she's on there. So I like the interaction with my mom. She's not on any other social media platform. So I'll be over there. And this is, for me, it's more of a family and friend connection on that end. So I'll stick with it for that moment. I believe Meta tied Instagram users to automatically become Thread users and vice versa. Oh yeah, and that's another piece. I'll check that out, because again, I'm on both, so I'll check that out. Like your idea, it's all about compounding, keeps growing. Oh, exactly. I actually did the math on it, and I talk about TSLY, and it came down today because today's the X date, so I'm sure a lot of people sold out. I know I was talking to Gort, and that was his plan anyway. It's run up well itself, and everybody's going to be getting those dividends anyway. So theoretically, you could have sold today, still gotten the dividends for it, and then if it comes down even further, you can take that money and put it back into it and just keep on cycling. So you can get the dividends and keep on cycling to get the value as well. So it's kind of a double dip, which is pretty cool. But looking at the dividends you get on it, if it continues for the next 18 months, which I don't know if it will. And again, I went over that whole entire website the other day. They've got the whole disclaimer in there. It may not continue. It may not be sustainable at these levels. If it's at, actually, I cut it down because it was at, even if it was half of where it's at right now, and we compounded that and I stuck with it and just kept on leaving it as it is. Or no, that's what it was. If I took all of the money that I had in my CDs and dividend ETFs right now and put it all into TSLY, that compounded from here on for the next 18 months would more than triple my money in there if I did that. And then at that point, I would be making enough money on the dividends to be able to live on and have extra afterwards. So again, because of the risk involved in it and because of the potential loss of value, I don't want to make that move. So I'm trying to figure out where the safe balance is. Still keeping money in my CDs. Next Friday, I have one CD maturing. Next Monday, I have the Monday after that, I have another. So when I get that money back, I'm going to thin a little bit off of my CDs, keep some in cash, because if I get an opportunity to get into some of these dividend ETFs at lower prices, I'm going to nibble a little bit more at them. That will then increase my return, because I'm getting a 5% return on my CDs, but I'm getting like a 15 to a 50% return on my ETFs. So for me, I want to find a better balance in there where, I've got the balance of, hey, I don't want to lose too much value and not make up the dividends, but I also want to make more than I'm making on my CDs. And I think it's possible. So I'll keep you guys posted on where I'm at with that and that balance. because even if I come down to, instead of making, 10%, maybe it's 15 or 20% I'm making annually on my returns from CDs and dividends. That's pretty significant, thinking about most of the indices, S&P is like a 7 to 9%, averaged over time. So if I can make more than double that in just cash flow coming in without having to sell out and worrying about making profits and selling, and just actually having that cash flow to put back in and compound interest, that's where I'm at. What's going on, Chadwick? What's good? Well, what's good is my job gave me some vacation days and I can spend more time with you guys. That's what's good, and I'm taking that as my silver lining. So for the next 5 days, I get to live my life as I plan on doing when I leave my job. So I'll get to get up in the morning without an alarm clock. I'll get to go to the gym. I will get to come home from the gym, have my breakfast, make a video in the morning for you guys, and then do what I need to do in the course of the day, respond to comments that you guys leave for all of my videos, go onto Twitter and get some information and do some research, do a live stream in the afternoon with you guys, and then enjoy my evenings. So, yeah, I'm going to do that for the next 5 days and build my channel up and take it from there. What's going on, Mark? Oh, yeah, I'm going to love the first time I see a Tesla Semi when I'm driving. It's my favorite Tesla product. Really? I mean, I love the Semi, don't get me wrong. But Cybertruck for me is going to be my favorite, but I have a feeling the Cyber van is going to really, really pique my interest. That I'm looking forward to. But the Semi, though, that's hot. And seeing as, we do deliver a lot of our product with tractor trailers at my job, there's no way my job would ever get one. That's way too forward thinking for them. But to be able to see other ones on the road, you're right. I would love to be able to see one out there in the wild. Do you consider other investments than stocks or bonds? So for me right now, it's stocks, dividends, ETFs, CDs, and I do want to get into real estate. And I'm looking right now. So I do think the housing market's going to pull down, but if I see something that's worthwhile right now, I'll buy it. Based upon my current job situation, I've been wondering if I want to buy in the area I'm living right now, because the only reason I'm in the area I'm in right now is because of my job. But if I intend on leaving my job, then I don't need to buy around here. So I'm kind of up in the air about where I want to buy. Knowing what's going on with Airbnb, I don't mind buying a house for that, but would have to be in a very specific location, like by the water or somewhere that's going to be rented regularly. Or it's going to be a multifamily home. And I'm also want to see where my son's going to choose to go to college, because maybe I'll go and buy a house near where he's going to be at college, so he can stay there. I can live in there myself. I can rent it out to all the college kids, and then when he graduates college, we both can move out, and I'll just keep on renting it right there. So those are my thoughts. Going into real estate, I do want to invest in other things as well. Currently, right now, though, I'm just kind of sitting on the CDs as cash, awaiting other opportunities to present themselves. That's kind of where I'm at. What's the beach on your screen? Your future retirement Tesla Island? Yes. So I put that up there because I was like, you know what? After today, I would love to just be relaxing on a beach with a drink in hand. And I'm not a big drinker, but man, when I went to Hawaii, I love Mai Tais. That is my mixed drink of choice. Give me a good Mai Tai, sit me on a nice, cool beach, just listening to the waves. I'm more of a mountain guy, as you guys usually see up there. But ideally, I'd love to go climb a mountain, and then after I'm done with the mountain, go sit on a beach with a drink and enjoy the waves. That would be the most amazing day. But the beach behind me is nowhere specific. I just looked up tropical beach pictures, and that was the first one that popped up that I liked. So nothing specific, but it's definitely nice to look at. Bought some Meta and Rivian yesterday and today. Well, I mean, Rivian yesterday seemed to pay off for you. Rivian jumped significantly. What was it, up like 14% today? Well done, Mark. And Meta, I know, like, for me, again, while I use Facebook and Instagram, my thoughts when it comes to my money investment, and nothing against you, Mark, you're doing investments as you feel fit. So no judgment on that. For me, I just don't want to give my money to Mark Zuckerberg. I do not believe in his cause as I believe in Elon's. So I would rather put my money there, or some other companies, like SoFi, Square, little things like that for other plays. I just don't want to give my money to a guy who I don't believe has the best interest in humanity in the future. But again, no judgment at all, Mark. Do your thing. There's money to be made there. I think they will be successful, and I think you'll be fine with it. When is Cybertruck coming out? Nobody knows yet. Supposed to be production Q3, which we are currently in Q3, just started it a week ago. My thoughts have been that we will probably end up hearing about the Cybertruck delivery event in August, and it will either be in September or October that they will have the first ones getting delivered. And October would technically be Q4, so it may get delayed slightly. That's my thoughts on timing of it. And I would be happy with that. That's fine. Obviously, we've been delayed forever, but if it gets delayed till the first month of Q4 versus Q3, so be it. Would Cybertruck push the stock high? I think initially it would. I think the release of it and the price, as long as the event and the price and the specs on it are, what we are told they're supposed to be. And that's the hard part, is there's so many people who have, inflated the expectations for the vehicle. Can Tesla actually meet those expectations? That's the big question. Can they? I think they can, but will they actually make it happen? Or how high are these expectations that have been inflated? So I think the initial news, as long as we get that stuff out, and let's say that the dual motor is 69,000, I think that would be awesome. And I think that would push the stock significantly high initially. But if we're on a downtrend from the whole entire stock market, it may be short-lived, and then we may push down from here. I've been seeing more and more just oddball negative news reports coming out on Tesla for random stuff. So that's leading me to believe that we are starting a downtrend, because it seems like shorts are really starting to attack stronger, or the sell side, I would say, maybe is trying to push the stock down. Just because these reports that are coming out are things that in the last 6 months we wouldn't have even seen in a headline, and now they're becoming headlines. So, Raymond, it will be nicer if you have a lady friend on the beach with you. If not yet, then a Tesla bot server. Yes, in the interim. So, ironically, I'm on a dating website, and I had success in the past with them, but they've changed so much in the last few years. The longest relationship I've had in the last year was a half an hour phone conversation with someone about a month ago. I'm like, just now, like, asking women, and this has happened now 4 times in the last 2 months. I'll be having a good conversation. The flow is going well with them. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, we're at the point where let's take it to the next step and either text each other off of the app, or let's get together and meet up and have lunch or dinner or something. And as soon as I ask them out, they vanish. No responses. Like the one literally today just came up. I was like chatting with her. It's great. It's like, oh, she lives near where I'm going on Sunday. I was like, hey, you're by my old roommates. Cool. Let's hang out. Gone. Deleted, like completely deleted the whole entire conversation, and she's gone from the app. Like, what is going on? So I don't know. But yes, Raymond, I would love to have a lady friend on that beach with me. But if not, absolutely, I will have a Tesla bot. If you want to live here in Italy, you need to start driving Aperol, drinking Aperol spritz. I will have to figure out what that is, David. And yes, I will take a look. But if I live there, I'm gonna have my castle and my own vineyard. So we will definitely have some wine. I think it's great that Tesla will sell Cybertrucks, but I'm still waiting for the appearance to grow on me. I'm kind of kicking myself now, because when it first came out, I was the same way. I'm like, what an ugly beast. And I didn't know enough about Tesla at the time. I wasn't doing this. I wish I knew more. Obviously, a lot of things I wish I knew back then what I know now. But looking back at it, it has grown on me. I would love it. Just hearing about how awesome the specs are supposed to be on it, what the vehicle can provide as far as functionality goes. I would really like one. And now, because I jumped in so late, I'm like 1.4 million on the list, versus if I had jumped in it right away. No, that was only $100 to reserve it. It wasn't even like a car, which was $250. It was just $100. I'm like, damn, I could have fronted $100, but oh well. Will FSD be licensed to the Tesla Semi? I can see a lot of red tape with this vehicle. So I have no doubt it will be. I don't know if they're going to do the piggyback version of it, where they'll have a lead truck and then they'll just have a whole caravan behind them of other trucks as well, or if they're going to just run it on straight FSD. If they do get to level 4 or level 5, like Elon thinks in the next year, it'll probably go right to just full autonomy on it. Especially when you go in cross country trucking. Um, when you get into tighter areas or like New England here, where the roads are a bit tighter, um, it's going to be a little more difficult. But I have friends who have regular vehicles driving FSD, so not a problem. Obviously, with a larger platform vehicle, they're going to have to worry about cameras and sensors, and it's going to have a whole different learning curve to it. So I think they'll be starting it in like more Midwest areas, but I have no doubt they'll have it out there. So I think when they sell a Semi to these Frito-Lay companies or Pepsi or whatever it's going to be, when they sell it to them, they'll probably give them the option. They'll say, "Hey, do you want FSD?" Because thinking about the cost savings they have by driving the Semi is significant as it is. Then if they can take out the payroll of having to pay a driver, that's also significant savings, especially now because drivers are so hard to come by that they're paying them exorbitant prices. But hey, drivers are drivers. If you want to make a lot of money, go get your CDL. I've contemplated it myself, but I don't know. I've contemplated it. I just haven't fully made that decision, but I don't think that's a route I want to go. But hey, they make great money. So the way I look at it is, if they can save a ton of money on payroll, then they would absolutely go with FSD. Obviously, as long as FSD has been regulated and they're allowed to use it, it would make sense. So I think just like we see Pepsi, like, hey, we'll buy a few of your trucks and test them out, they would probably do the same thing with FSD and say, hey, we'll take 2 or 3 of your trucks, we'll try FSD on it for these very simple routes and see how that goes and saves us money. That in the long run, and going back to what we were talking about before with the Semi and saving money, and the excitement behind it is, the impact it's going to make is going to take some time. The reason I say that is because we've got obviously a slower rollout to it anyway. But when we start seeing companies who adopt it, when Pepsi gets more of them into their fleet, Pepsi then comes out with their earnings. Pepsi shows that they have saved significant money in cost when it comes to shipping. Other manufacturers are going to see this. These manufacturers are going to say, hey, Pepsi's cost of deliveries and everything are down 25, 30%. That's a massive amount of money that they could put on their bottom line. Then they're going to be like, oh, that's going to make a difference. We're going to go and get ourselves some of those as well. The more companies that get it and the more companies that show this savings on their bottom line, the more people are going to go and buy them. Very much like when Hertz took on the EVs and touted how much money they were saving when it came to having Teslas in their fleet versus the ICE vehicles. More and more rental car companies started bringing on EVs and Teslas. This is what's going to happen with the Semi when it comes to manufacturing companies. And then you get into shipping companies like Werner, my last name, Werner, Yellow, and all these other companies. They start seeing this. That's going to make a difference. Then you start getting into the private guys, these individual private guys who do, per diem work. Hey, they're going to go up and say, I think I'm going to do the same thing. And we're going to start seeing it. The big thing for the per diem guys is, are they going to be able to have a charger at home that's going to be able to power their truck? That's going to be the big one, because I know a lot of these guys keep the cab at home. So if that is capable of doing it, then we'll start seeing more of that. Do you think Tesla will make a plant in India? And in case, would it be a Model 2 and the newer Model 3? When it comes to India, if you actually look at, because India was what I thought was going to be the next factory. Then there was all the issues that they had with all the taxes and the fees that they've got over there. But when I started looking into it, and you look at what they actually sell domestically for vehicles, they don't sell a lot of vehicles. They have to sell low price vehicles just for the masses over there. The upper echelon that lives over there is a smaller percent, and that small percentage isn't buying a lot of these cars. So when it comes to India, it would have to definitely be the Model 2. And I'm actually wondering if they've got some sort of rickshaw vehicle or something that they have, typical, or like maybe an Arcimoto type of vehicle that we see going on over there already. If Tesla comes out with something like that, or even, a smaller, version of a car, maybe it's a sub $15,000 car, I think that will definitely make a huge impact, and that would be a reason. Obviously, Elon is big on this. He said himself, we should be seeing a presence of Tesla in India within the next year. So, because of that, he obviously sees this is coming, this is happening, something is going to be transpiring in India, and he obviously knows what their vehicle sales are there. So he feels like they can make a significant impact in some manner. And I do think it is going to be the Model 2. I have no doubt they'll have like the Model 3 there, but I think it's going to be very much like Mexico, where that will probably end up being the factory that starts pumping out all of the Model 2s over there on that side of the world. Yeah, Rivian beat out the Ford Lightning selling. So Rivian, I mean, again, Lucid, I don't know if they're going to do well. They're being very stubborn, especially about the charging. We saw Mercedes just adopted the NACS as well, the North American Charging Standard. So Mercedes is on board. I mean, it's just a matter of time before everybody jumps on board with the North American Charging Standard. And Rivian, I think, is held up strong enough. Obviously their contract with Amazon didn't pan out the way they wanted it to, but they still make a solid vehicle. So I think because of that, they're going to be fine. It's just a matter of if we end up seeing the economy turn sideways and go south in the next 6 to 12 months, can they get through that? That'll be the big question. If they can get through that, I think Rivian will be perfectly fine on the other side. And even in the near term, you could get some nice pushes like we saw today and make some good money on them. A tough place to sell imported EVs in India, lots of red tapes and import taxes. Yeah, that's the problem, is the import taxes. So in order for India to be successful, they have to do significant domestic sales. So they would have to be doing a vehicle. And I have no doubt Shanghai will also be producing the compact car. So Shanghai will probably still be that major export for the compact car. And I think initially they would be the export for it to Berlin or over to Europe until Europe gets their own. And obviously Elon's been talking to a lot of heads of state over in Europe. So I have no doubt that there's going to be another factory coming up over there. I think he's going to want to have, just like how we have, if you split the world into thirds on a flat map, for anybody who's a flat earther, if you're looking at a flat earth map and you split it into thirds, you've got North America, Europe, and Asia. Looking at those thirds, I think he's going to want to have a compact car factory on each one of them. So Mexico obviously is going to be supplying North America, whether it's India and or China that are supplying Asia. I think will be the next question. And then, do we get South Korea and Indonesia? I don't know. Based upon what Elon said, it sounds like India is the place they want to go with. Don't know. But I don't know what the export is going to be. Can they export from India? Well, if that's the case, then we're fine. And then I think they're going to have one over in Europe as well. So whether it's going to be Spain, I've heard rumors about Portugal. We know he talked to Italy. France has been begging for something. So don't know how it's going to transpire in Europe, but I have no doubt we'll see a factory there as well. Can you imagine many people will go into cab businesses when the FSD is fully approved by regulators, 15 to 20 years, maybe? Man, I think we're going to see regulations a lot sooner than that, at least for vehicles. I don't know if they're going to make it separate for semi trucks than they will for EVs, for regular cars. That's actually a really good question. I don't know if they would do it all together. Theoretically, based upon the way that Tesla's building up FSD, it would be synonymous. There would be no difference between the two. They would both drive exactly the same. So it would be no point in making them different. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I don't know how that will play out, but I don't think it's going to take that long. And here's the reasoning behind this. I've been seeing enough reports in the news about wrong way drivers, about distracted drivers, about traffic deaths. I've seen more and more of those coming out in the news, talking about fully autonomous vehicles in part of their article. And we know that most of these news outlets are just speaking from whatever they're told to talk about. So if that's the case, it tells me that they're really planting the seeds for the future, because obviously when it comes down to regulatory approval, they're going to say, hey, what does the public think of all this? But if the public is all about, no, we don't want this, it'll get squashed. But if the public is like demanding it, then, whatever side wants to do it, probably the left, would end up being like, oh, all these people are dying. Do you want to prevent your people from dying? Because they like to play the heartstrings. Do you want to keep your people from dying? We need to regulate autonomy because think about how many lives you can save. And it's true and it's real. So I'm not going to bash the left side for that. But they've been laying the groundwork for this, I think, now. So when we do get to that point, probably 2024, late 2024 or 2025, they'll be able to vote on it. So I think we will see it all regulated and approved and passed by 2025, 2026 at the latest. But don't forget, here in the US, it goes state by state. And there's many states that already have level 5 approved. Level 4 and 5 are approved to use in vehicles right now. Florida's one of them. So if Tesla came out with level 5 tomorrow, people in Florida can go ahead and use it. No questions asked. It's already there. But it does go state to state. And then, of course, we go globally. China, I know Elon's been speaking with them over in China about it. So that might get regulated before we get it here in the US on a national basis. Who knows? So I don't think it's going to take 15 to 20 years. I think we'll see it long before then. Big gaps in riches and poors in India. Yes, there is a significant gap. I think other Asian countries will be better picked for next gigafactory. Yeah, that's my thought. But then knowing who Elon is as a person, he likes to take that divide and blend it together. We hear about a lot of politicians saying, hey, we need to remove all of the bias and the bigotry and all of that stuff. But are they really doing it? Elon goes out there and he really levels the playing field. He knows that, when it comes to balancing what people can get for knowledge and how they can grow and provide more value, it comes down to, access to knowledge. And that's just why he's providing Starlink to Brazil. They've never had internet. Now they can. All these schools have never had internet, now have access to all of this information. So he's providing all of that. And I think that's the impact he wants to make in India. I don't think it's just about how many cars can we sell. It's about how can we impact their entire culture with this company. So while, yes, I agree with you that I think initially they could probably be more successful in like a South Korea or in Indonesia, I think the impact that Elon wants to make would be more beneficial in India. Seeing cost savings from adding semis to company fleets will run parallel to seeing cost savings and adding Tesla bots to workforces. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's what's going to happen. So we're now going to see it threefold. So we've seen it with Hertz and EVs. We're then going to end up seeing it with, actually it's going to be fourfolds. And we're going to see it with the semi. We'll see it with energy. We're going to see municipalities taking on Tesla energy as the way they're going to go with megapacks and everything. We're already seeing it in Australia. They're going to see the benefit it can provide. That's going to start, causing a domino effect in the positive direction. Optimus is going to be the same way. You put Optimus in all of these factories, you cut that payroll, and now, going back to the drivers, they have a very strict time limit that they can drive for. Then they have to take a break and stop. Guess what? FSD doesn't have to stop. You just have to stop to charge the truck. That's it. That's the only stopping time you have. You don't have to let the guy sleep. You charge the truck for, 45 minutes, an hour, probably less now at this point. You charge that up and then you're good to go again. And it can keep going. And it's more continuous trucking. They'll get more things done faster. They'll be more efficient. And the same thing's going to hold true when it comes to Optimus. You're going to be able to replace 3 workers with 1 because this Optimus bot's not going to have to break for anything other than charging. And you could just rotate out. It's like when you've got a drill and you're doing work, you've got batteries. You just have 1 on the charger and you've got 1 ready to go. When you need to change, when the battery's running low, hey, cool, pop it out, pop the new battery in, charge the other one. Optimus, same thing. You're just going to keep swapping them out and keep going. You don't have to worry about downtime as much. You have to worry about people calling out. You don't have to worry about paying insurance. All of these extra expenses that go into having a human, you're going to end up seeing with Optimus as well. And same thing, people are going to come out with their reports every quarter, and they're going to say, hey, look at our labor cost savings. Look at how much more money we put on the bottom line by utilizing Optimus. More and more factories are going to start taking them on. Imagine a gigafactory in Italy, in the Motor Valley area next to Lamborghini, Ducati, Ferrari, and Maserati. Oh, man. Oh, and I got to tell you, David, my plan with the Tesla, with my castle over there, it's going to be people are going to get off a plane. They're going to step out. They're going to get into whatever, Tesla model of their choice. I'll have options. There's going to be champagne, wine, whatever they want of a drink of choice, and that vehicle is going to drive them right to my castle. They won't have to drive. They could drink and enjoy the countryside, and I'll have them drive right by Lamborghini and all those places if they want, and that's it. Giga Italia would be awesome. And actually, Giga Italy would be awesome because I know the population there is declining. It's very much like Japan. Population is declining. I know when I looked over there, some areas are like, hey, we'll sell you property for $1. We'll actually pay you to take this property because they're trying to draw in the younger people to bring the population up. So having Tesla putting a gigafactory there would be beneficial for them as well. It's great for the economy, great to bring labor there. VW announced autonomous program in Austin, Tesla home base, partnering with Mobileye. Maybe a Tesla Cybertruck will be programmed to crash tests into them. I don't think they would end up doing that, but I actually didn't hear about that, Raymond. So thank you. So I did not know that VW announced the autonomous program in Austin. I knew that they were working on something. I knew that they had partnered with Mobileye. I just didn't know it was in Austin. That's too funny and too ironic, which is so funny because I wonder where Herbert Diess is these days. I'm sure he's still doing stuff with VW, but obviously he's not in the same position he was before. Cheaper compact Tesla EVs would be a great sale in China too. Yeah, you're right. Especially those first-time car buyers, students. That's the whole thing, is like timing-wise. With my son, I'll probably, depending on the price and the timing of it coming out, I'll probably get one for him while he's in college. My thoughts, like, he's driving a 93 Mustang right now. It's a perfectly fine vehicle. But, if I can get him, the safest car on the road, that would be my choice as a father. So I would love to be able to do that. So I will wait and see how that comes out. But you're right. I think everywhere in the world, obviously the compact car is going to have the biggest impact we have ever seen from Tesla, period. As Elon said, the next gen platform is going to sell more vehicles than all of their current lineup combined. And if we're looking at the Model Y this year to become the best selling vehicle, which, by the way, it's the best selling passenger vehicle in Australia, if Tesla is going to have that with a Model Y this year globally, not just EVs, the best selling vehicle, period, this year, and we're looking at a compact car, next gen vehicle, whatever we're going to call it, coming out to be more sales than all of them combined, then clearly that is going to be the best selling vehicle, perhaps of all time. That's the potential. So yeah, it's going to have a major impact for everywhere in the world. Dish, yeah, I remember you talking about Dish. Dish going to run much higher. Haven't looked into that. It's going to rally hard. I'll have to take a look. I'm not big into those stocks. Again, nothing against them, just not my forte. So I'm not knowledgeable enough to share info on them. But I appreciate you sharing the info. Would LA or San Francisco be the first areas where we see robo-taxis in action? We currently see them now. So the problem is, and I thought about this, they're actually doing Tesla a favor by having San Fran, having Cruise, Waymo, and these things there and these towns, because we're now seeing it, an autonomous vehicle of some sort in cities. The biggest challenge Tesla is going to face is people's comfortability with getting in a car or a vehicle of some sort that does not have a driver. That is going to be a huge challenge for Tesla. So by having Waymo and Cruise out there, it's already starting to kind of plant that seed. So some people are already in it. Now people are getting more comfortable with it. They're perfectly fine getting into a vehicle that has no driver. That word of mouth is spreading where people are saying, hey, I've done this. This is cool. And more people know about it because of these other companies. Then when Tesla comes out and says, hey, we've got it, and every one of our vehicles is like this, it's going to start that whole trend. Just like, the more Teslas we see on the road, the more people see Teslas, the more people learn about Teslas, the more people want to go buy Teslas. We can take that to the next step. More people see robo-taxis out there, more people ride in them, more people talk about them. That's going to spiral as well. So I don't think that Tesla is going to set it up in a scenario where they have to geofence it. I thought about that, but it's too much unnecessary work for them to go out there to geofence areas just so they can get this out there when we have full states, like I said, like Florida, who are totally autonomous already. So it would be a waste of effort for Tesla to go and do that. Gigafactories in India and Ukraine with Mexico could mass produce compact cars so much and cheap enough that everyone would like to buy one. Actually, Ukraine wouldn't be bad. I don't know. I think Poland might be a better option just because like I want to say Ukraine would be a bad spot, but obviously it's a hotbed for stuff. But depending on where they put it, does Tesla want to put themselves in that position? Poland may be a better place, but that there in itself is close to Berlin, so do they really want it that close? So Ukraine logistically would be fine, but can you really export much from Ukraine, especially if it's going to be producing the compact car? If you're going to have Mexico coming online, and if you're going to be doing it from just a straight domestic standpoint, you're not going to be exporting many from this to other countries outside of Europe, Ukraine would make sense. But if they're looking to put them on boats and export them to other places, maybe to like in Africa, putting it on a place like Spain would make more sense, or in Italy, depending on where in Italy they put it. He doesn't challenge other things that could or could not do challenge difficulties. Elon Musk's middle name challenge. Yeah. Elon, that's what Elon likes. And that's personally why I think Elon took on Twitter. I think he was getting to the point with Tesla where to not to say it wasn't a challenge for him, but as he has said himself, it's basically running itself. He doesn't need to have the same presence with Tesla as he did before. He's not sleeping on the factory floor. He's got the Model 3 up and running. They're doing much better, and they have people in positions who are now handling a lot of the stuff that he was doing by himself previously. So because of that, I think he got to the point where he's like, wow, what else can I challenge myself with? Let's buy Twitter. And that sure presented that challenge. Tesla laying off people at the battery factory, which looks like a slowdown in China. I did not see that. I missed that news. I will have to look more into that. So I appreciate you sharing that. I did not hear anything about the battery factory stuff. What's going on, Jeanette? Do you think Tesla will go into electric planes too? Elon has said yes. He said initially that it doesn't seem feasible, but then more recently he did say it's possible. So do we get into that? Do we get into electric planes? I think it's possible. What size, I don't know. But I think it's possible. Gigafactory in Spain, yeah. Like I said, I think Spain's a possibility. I think it's all going to come down to whether they want to export on boats to other continents, or what they're planning on doing with it. Because obviously Berlin, where it's located, is more designed for domestic distribution rather than export on a boat. Must be harder to attract drivers knowing you could lose your job to FSD. That's true too. That would be almost like the Osborne effect. If drivers are seeing that FSD, more and more companies are bringing on semi trucks that have full autonomy, why would they go and get a job as a driver if they knew a company was going to be taking this on and they would end up losing their job? So you're right, that could end up causing that problem. Michael, Rivian running like fire might do better than Tesla over time. I do not think so. Rivian, like I said, I think Rivian will be fine if they can get through a tough economic time. I think they're going to be fine on the other side. But at the end of the day, they only currently produce trucks. Not to say they can't make anything else, but I mean, they're still just EVs. They don't have energy. They don't have Optimus. They don't have all of the other pieces. They don't have Dojo. They don't have all of these FSD. They don't have all of these other things that Tesla is working on. That's the piece right there. They're missing a lot of what Tesla is doing. They're one piece of what Tesla does, which is why I don't think Rivian will ever be more than Tesla. Thanks for the wise advice, sir. Well, you're most welcome. Tesla will be the largest company in the world by 2030. I think you're right. I think 2030, I was guessing 2027, but maybe it'll take a little bit longer. But definitely I think by 2030 it will be. What's your price prediction for Tesla before earnings? Oh, that's way too close. Oh man, that's way too close. I think between now and earnings, we could see a sell-off based upon macro environment news. But this next month is going to be so uncertain. I'm just ready to buy if we get the buying opportunity. If it pops, I'll enjoy the ride. That's kind of where I'm at. So price prediction before then is anybody's guess. I mean, we could be right where we're at right now. We could drop down, come up, drop down, come up, come down. Um, and basically be where we're at now when we hit earnings. Gigafactory in Malaysia would be nice, but the government full of red tapes. Yeah, full of restrictions on foreign investment here. Corruption is prevalent. The officers asking for money from China. Yeah, I was talking to Peggy about that, and he said the same thing. It would be a great place, but it is expensive, and they don't have the talent there that Tesla would be looking for. So I don't think Malaysia would be the best place to put one, but it sounds good. I just don't think it's the best place. Can produce the robo tank in Ukraine. I mean, they've already got like drones and stuff, so the robo drone makes sense. Yeah, definitely not France. I know Alexandra, Tesla Boomer Mama was talking about France, and she's like, "No, no, do not do it." She knows enough about France to know do not do it in France. I mean, maybe they do a battery factory there, maybe an energy factory. That's not terrible, but as far as an EV factory, I don't think that's wise. Um, the battery China layoff is more because of IRA encouraging production in the US. The Shanghai factory will just use more from local CAT battery across the road. Okay, that makes sense. So thank you, Raymond, for clearing that up. That does make sense. I mean, you never want to hear about anybody getting laid off, but um, yeah, and then Michael, as you know, hearing about it on Bloomberg TV. For me, I always try to look at the source because many sources, how are they spinning it? As we saw from CNBC trying to put out news about Tesla's production and delivery numbers smashing records, and they spun it as gray as possible to not be excited or show how truly good Tesla did. So I always take, and Bloomberg is not always on Tesla's side with their articles. So I try to dive in there. So when I hear things, so like, cool, they said that they're laying people off. What is the actual reason? I always, always, always encourage you guys to ask questions. When you hear something or read a headline, read the article. If you're in the article, ask questions about things in the article. If you don't find the answers that you're looking for in the article, go somewhere else and find them. Like why? Always ask why, why? Why are they doing layoffs? All right, cool. Well, they're doing layoffs because they're trying, Tesla's trying to take advantage of the IRA tax credit here in the US. So it behooves them to make more batteries here, and they'll just supplement the other batteries over in China. Totally makes sense to do that from a business standpoint. So it's not like these layoffs were because Tesla's losing business or anything. They've just changed the way that they're going to operate to be able to make more money and save more money. So that makes total sense. Romeo, how many Tesla shares do I have? I have 11 in my main portfolio. I have 72 in my main portfolio, 11 in my IRA. I've got 48 TSLY. I've got 5 TSLL, and I've got 115 TSLY in my IRA. So a lot in Tesla of all sorts. China's economy is in bad shape, and the unemployment rate for younger people keep going up. Yeah, China's getting hit. I think China's actually going to recover before the U.S. just because they kind of got into it before we did. So I think they're going to recover sooner. But yeah, it's not great over there. But again, you start looking at places like there, Berlin. We had already heard about it as well when it comes to the jobs, which is employers trying to find help is extremely difficult in Berlin right now, in Germany. But Tesla is doing better than everyone else when it comes to finding employment. So this is why in this world where we're at right now is, as an employer, you have to present a very compelling place to work for people to want to go work at. Tesla and SpaceX for engineers are top notch. Tesla across the world is the place that most people want to go work for. This is why, they're having the least amount of trouble trying to find help. Meanwhile, other companies who can't find help, if you can't find help to get the work done, you can't make money. You can't be in business. This is another piece that people are missing when it comes to the next 6 to 12 months. Employers who are out there and businesses trying to make money because it's going to be hard to make money because they can't take on loans that are so expensive just to keep the business afloat, they're going to go bankrupt. If they don't have employees coming in, they're going to go bankrupt. If employees know that they're seeing this is going on with the company, they're not going to want to work there. That's just even more of a downward spiral for these companies. So it's going to be a problem for a lot of these workers. Yeah, so Reuters. So here we go. So, and these are the articles I'm talking about. So thank you for sharing this, Michael. Reuters, electric car maker Tesla Inc. is laying off some battery production workers at its Shanghai plant. Bloomberg News reported on Friday, citing people familiar with the matter. That's cool. Don't mind that, but always, always, always ask, why are they laying off people? Because if they're laying off people because they don't have the sales or things are bad or, they're trying to cut costs, not to say that's for concern, but that's more on the negative side of things. But if they're doing it because they're shifting and reallocating resources to the US versus having them in China, that's a different subject. So no, I appreciate that, Michael, for sharing that. But that's why I always suggest you guys always ask questions. Don't just take everything for face value. You're on an hour early for me. Sorry, Daniel. If you caught the beginning of this, my job was kind enough to give me 3 unpaid days off, so I will be spending more time with you guys, and ideally, I wanna be on at about 4:20. So I thought about doing actually, you guys can let me know. I like the 4:20 just because it's 4:20, and I could do a post-market live stream, unless you guys want me to do, like, a 3:30 and we can ride through the close together. You let me know. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do on Monday and Tuesday, I will do, and we'll see how it works out. Again, I'm open all day long, so whatever you guys want me to do, I will do. Your target should be 420 shares by next April 20th. Oh man, I don't think I could get there by 2025. I'll make that my 2025 goal is to get 420 shares by April of 2025. And not to say that I can't, because hey, if this channel takes off, if you guys are awesome, like and share all of my videos and really get this channel boosted up, I'll have enough income coming in. Maybe I can get to 420 at that point. And don't forget, when I do get my castle over in Italy, the plan is by 2030. Every one of you guys is going to have a free stay there. I will make sure that you are all invited for a free stay at my castle and bottle of wine on the house. Do you think some of the profit Tesla have go into SpaceX? No, they won't mix money like that. Nope. There would be so many filings for that. There is not a trade of money like that at all. If anything like that ever happens, it would be exactly how we saw with Tesla, with Elon and Twitter. Is Elon would personally be selling his shares of Tesla to fund SpaceX if that was the case, but that is not the case. We would not see any profits going to SpaceX. TSLY, my friend bought 50K worth of TSLY, made around $3,300 last month for gains in the stock. Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely insane how much you get in dividends. I mean, like I said, I only own 40. I had 42 shares last month, and I made like $80. Like, was it 80? No, it was less. 60. I got three. Either way, I got 3 shares out of it. So owning 40 shares, I got 3 in return. Like, stupid amounts of money that are coming in from it. And so I just roll it right back into it for the moment. If I get to a point where it's making me enough money that I actually want to take it out and use it, I'll do it. But then, obviously I've got to pay taxes on that as well. So I'm factoring all of that in, but dude, it's stupid money right now. And I don't know how long it's going to last, and I want to be careful because obviously if the value drops, your dividends mean nothing, but I'm getting myself in as much as I can to make as much money as I can, because if it stops, when the faucet turns off, I'll have to put my money elsewhere. But until then, I'm going to squeeze as much out of that as I can. Let's see if there's anything else in the news. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hop over on Twitter for a hot moment. Let me see what we got going on here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right. Well, people adding more and more. And again, Tesla on this little, I still think, long-term, Tesla, even at this price, is good. I'm just waiting for it to come down to add even more heavier. Still adding my daily $15. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Just running through. Actually, you know what? I'll pop up on the screen. We'll scan this together. Yeah, some employees have cross worked. So that's one of the awesome things about Tesla and SpaceX, and some of them did it with Twitter, is they're free to go back and forth between the companies. Like, there's no bad blood. There's like, hey, you know what? I'm just starting to burn out over here at Tesla. Let me jump over to SpaceX for something new. Still helping Elon's companies. This is who Elon is as a person. People want to work for Elon. It's not just specifically the companies. They want to work for Elon, regardless of what company it is, because they understand what his mission is. I will sell some stock on Monday and buy this for my IRA. Yeah, and so actually, one thing I was talking to Gord about is having TSLL, because it moves 1.5 times what Tesla moves at, is as it runs up, or as it did right now, I nibbled a little bit off the top and I put in a stop loss. So if it comes down even more, that will end up selling out. When that sells out, that also means that TSLY has come down. So then that means that I've sold TSLL for a big profit. I can then take that and then buy TSLY lower. That then runs up. I will then be able to take my dividends and profits from that, put it back into TSLL, and just keep on running that loop over and over. Or I could just do the whole thing with TSLY and wait for the X date like people do today. So people sold today, the stock price will come down, they'll still get their dividends. Then as the stock price comes down more, they buy back in, run it back up again. You know, and obviously nobody knows where the stock is going to move in the future, but knowing that we're in a place where it's going to be running cycles makes sense. Let me bring this up for you. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll run through here. Tesla launches deep blue metallic and midnight cherry paint in Taiwan. Cool. That is awesome news. And if you guys didn't see the metallic silver, I think it's the dark metallic silver here in the US is now the free color of choice versus white. Earth Day photography. Oh, I love photography like that. That's awesome. Yep, Mizuho, buy rating at $300 increased their price target. So awesome, Mizuho. They're also always bullish on the stock. I love that. Let's see if there's anything else going on in the news. SPY. Let me see. Kendall's awesome. If you guys don't follow Kendall, he's awesome to follow on Twitter. What Kendall's awesome with is everybody who puts out, he'll follow everybody who follows him. And if anybody puts out anything at all, he'll always share my videos. So Kendall's great. So if any of you guys are content creators of any sort, go ahead and hook up with Kendall, and he'll make sure he shares your stuff on Twitter. Oh yes, this one here. Let me see here. Why is this not working? Well, we'll go this way. So the Tesla Model Y, 200,000 vehicles, and the Tesla Model 3. That's the top selling US electric vehicles for the first half of 2023. Unbelievable. Like, and now this is just EVs. So one of the things that I get from a lot of Tesla Q still, as many times I try to beat it into their heads, is it's not the EV market, it's the automotive market. And when you look at the whole automotive market, Tesla right now is 13th I think it's 13th or a little bit lower than that in the world. So they're not top 10 yet, but they're moving up significantly. Based upon my projections, Tesla should be in the top 10 in the next 2 years. And that's before the compact car comes out. Before we get the compact car, the car that's going to make the biggest impact on a global basis than any other car in history has made, Tesla will be in the top 10 of automotive sales without that one. So as soon as Tesla puts that out, I guarantee you by 2026, 2027, Tesla should be top 5, if not number 1. TSLY, what's the price at now? About $17? Yeah. Yes, yeah, $17. And I know it's not on every trading app. So it's on most of the ones that I have seen here in the US. Some will allow recurring buys on it, some will not. Some have recurring buys allowed, but there's a minimum purchase to do it. Um, Through Public, you can do it, but it's a minimum of $5 and they take a fee off of it as well. So I do mine through Robinhood, no fees, no nothing, perfectly good. I add $3 a day into TSLY. And then in my TD Ameritrade account, I just have a chunk of cash sitting there waiting for certain price limits that I see, and I'll toss it in there. Let me see. Oh, y'all seen the movie Sound of Freedom? Can't get it for free, get tickets. 2 ads. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That is one thing that bothers me, and I get hit with it all the time on YouTube is 2 unskippable 15-second ads. Like, dude, if I wanted that, I would just go get cable TV again. But thanks for waiting through it, Cannabis, and jumping on anyway. I appreciate that. Came up with the word, you'll get there. Thank you. Thank you. That's the whole plan. Just keep on plugging away, just like my health and fitness, daily DCA, my dollar cost averaging every day. Get up in the morning, I work out, I eat my proper nutrition, making the progress. I'm down 20 pounds. So super excited about that. And I do the same thing with my building my channel and my business, just every single day, plugging away, building that up. Same I do with my investing. It's all the same principles across the board. And if you guys want to get yourselves to a better place in life, find good habits and dollar cost average those good habits. It's a DCA of habits, truly all it is. Nope. Cannabis did not end yet. Did not end. Still going. And we have 69 viewers. That's awesome. 69. I love that. I'll probably jump off in a little bit though. I got to go make dinner. But I'll hang out with you guys for a little bit longer, seeing as I don't have to do anything. Oh yeah, Cannabis, just for you. 420 is when we started it. Do you think TSLA buybacks is off the table now? No, I don't think so. I think Tesla will be doing buybacks probably end of this year. I'm guessing they may even announce it at the Q3 earnings call. They'll probably do a buyback announcement, and they'll say, hey, we're going to be buying back maybe $4 billion worth of stock over the next 12 months. And that'll probably be the announcement, is my guess. So I would say either then or the Q4 earnings call in January. But that's the benefit of doing a buyback, is you don't have to just do it all at once. Is you can say, hey, we're announcing a buyback, and the first allotment will come out in mid-November, and then we will wait and see from there when the next one's going to be, and then Tesla can just decide whenever they want to do it. Yep, Raymond. Yep, Mercedes announced joining the NACS. So just a matter of time before Lucid's the only one sitting on the sidelines not doing anything. Now my big question is Lucid going to announce joining the NACS before Toyota does? Which one's going to come first? They're both so damn stubborn and trying to do their own thing. It's unbelievable. David, I will start a diet and exercise and to exercise more often after the summer. Following the relocation in Italy, decided to quit smoking. Awesome. And I would not have the strength to do it now. Yeah, smoking's literally a killer. It takes a lot out of you. If you were ever going to look at any sort of positive from smoking, is by smoking, you actually open up your airways and you can allow more oxygen to come into your body. So when you're doing like a long run, it's more beneficial. However, the negative effects of it negate all of the positives and then some. So, but congratulations on quitting smoking. That's fantastic. I fully support that. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of habits. Like from a health and fitness side of things, little habits. It's like don't consume liquid calories or too many calories. Watching how many calories you're consuming is very much like watching how much money you're spending. Again, so many similarities when it comes down to it. Is just following all of that in the same patterns, putting it the same thought process into every aspect of your life, you will be successful. Lang joining as a member. Thank you, Lang. Awesome. I love it. And for you guys who don't know, all of my members and patrons, every single week I share my my income, investments, and expenses. So where all my money comes, I'm 100% transparent. You guys see it on a monthly basis in a video, but all members and patrons see it on a weekly basis. I'm still trying to get my entire portfolio up there. Actually, with this time off, I'm gonna try to get it done now. I keep saying I'm gonna try to get it done, but now I have some time. I'm gonna try to get it done so you guys can see my entire portfolio. So I'll share my whole portfolio with you guys, all the spreadsheets I have for that, and then anytime I update all of my price targets, my production and deliveries, you guys as members and patrons get all of that as well. What's going on, Isaac? Yeah, TSLA paying massive dividend this month. Actually, Paul, I didn't even get a chance to look at it because I think tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, or maybe it's today, was the date that they announce the declaration date. So announcing what they're going to be paying out. Did they announce it? I know it was around 52 or 53%. So like just stupid high. In your opinion, how is TSLA going to do with margins? I've got them slated to do 23% with credits and 20% X credits. They might come in at 19%. They did do a lot of price cuts. So it might be 18%. I don't know, but as Zach Kirkhorn had mentioned on the earnings call, they're really more focused on operating profits. So if operating profits still come around, if they come in around like 13, 14%, I think that's going to be very solid. So it just depends on what Wall Street's going to be looking at when it comes to margins. Are they looking at vehicle margins? Are they looking at operating margins? But yeah, if Tesla can come in around 20% for vehicle margins, that's going to be awesome. But they may end up coming in around 18%. Yes, happy Friday. We're going to go with happy Friday. $1.06 per share. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Holy crap. I think last month it was like 80 cents a share. So $1.06 per share. I mean, think about that. So, I've got 113 shares in my IRA. So I'm going to get $113 plus from all of that. Like, what? That's so this is why I made the video the other day for how you can get dividends paid out from Tesla. Again, very risky. I went through the whole thing on that. So please watch that video if you guys have not seen it yet. It's the whole entire website. I break down the whole thing, all the disclaimers that they have on there. So this is where you guys can do your own research. Yeah, if you guys are looking to make some money in dividends from Tesla, there are options. TSLL also pays them, but it's very small amounts. You make more money on the movement of the stock itself. 90% of the margin is going to bring the stock down. Yeah, see, Rob, that's the hard part. It's just like, maybe it will, but where does Wall Street think it's going to come in? I actually need to see the consensus estimates on margins. I truly don't know where that's at right now. And we may not hear about that for another couple of weeks. But I think right now people are looking at around 19%. So if it comes in at 19%, should be fine. But maybe we just get a, hey, you met expectations. Awesome. We're going to sell off now type situation. But then the question is, with the margins, if they come in at 19%, then you balance that with, well, Tesla still came in at 19%, which is what they met with, but they also delivered significantly more vehicles than we thought. So even though they brought the prices down, they were able to bring their operating margins up and bring the costs down. That could be very beneficial. Again, for me, regardless of how the stock price moves because of the earnings, I'm going to look at the long-term effects of this. If Tesla's able to deliver more vehicles at the same margins that they had last quarter, and with all the price cuts they took, meaning that they were able to drop the cost of the production of vehicles significantly more, that trend is just going to continue going forward. As that trend continues going forward, once we get out of this ugly macro environment, those fundamental pieces are going to make a significant difference. Then all of a sudden, Tesla's back at the point where they're pushing 30% margins on their vehicles, even with the compact car coming out, pushing 30% margins, selling, 1 million vehicles a quarter versus 500,000 a quarter. That there is going to get them to the point where people are just like eyes opening, and then we'd still have energy pushing out there, FSD probably being solved at the time. So this is what I look at when it comes to the margins. I'm not going to look at how the market reacts to the margins now. I'm going to look at how their numbers have been trending and then take that into the future and where I think they're going to go. All right, folks. I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna go grab myself some dinner. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Again, I'm gonna have 2 videos out this weekend. Monday morning, I'll have another one, and then we're going to be doing a live stream. Unless you guys tell me otherwise, we're gonna do it 4:20 on Monday and Tuesday. And spending a lot of time with you guys. Absolutely love it. Tesla's doing awesome. Love it. Love it. Love you guys.